Hey everyone, it's Andrew from the Coaster101 podcast, and I've got a question for you. Do you love Coaster101.com and or the Coaster101 podcast so much that you would literally wear your heart on your sleeve for us? We've got an answer for you. Be sure to check out our TeePublic shop at c101.co/tpublic for the latest and greatest in Coaster101 designs, as well as designs inspired by theme park attractions around the United States. Again, that's c101.co/tpublic. Now, enjoy this week's episode. You're listening to another episode of the Coaster101 podcast. I'm Andrew Stillwell. We've got a great show for you this week where we're talking Tumbili and Jungle X-Pedition at King's Dominion, which opens for the season on Saturday, March 12th. But before we get into that, I wanted to take a quick moment and just send our thoughts, prayers, and love to EB. That's Eric Bolstridge of CoasterRadio.com. In case you were unaware, his son Mark recently passed away in an automobile accident, and I can't imagine what their family is going through in this very difficult time. Like a lot of theme park podcasters, I know that Coaster Radio has been a constant in my life for the past 17 years, and even though I never met Mark and I've never met EB in person, when something terrible happens to someone you consider a friend, even if that friendship is based on listening to them on a podcast for 17 years, it's truly an awful feeling. So, we're sending our love to EB, his family, and the entire Coaster Radio family in this difficult time, and we're going to offer just a very quick moment of silence in Mark's honor. Thank you. This week on the show, we've got a series of interviews about the new Jungle X-Pedition area at King's Dominion. Headlined by the new Tumbili, a 4D free spin from S&S, the area formerly known as Safari Village in Congo received multiple breaths of fresh air this off-season, with new theming, new restaurants and retail, and so much more. We're first joined by the park's Vice President and General Manager, Bridgette Bywater, to talk about the 2022 season at King's Dominion. Then we'll be joined by Tony Turner, King's Dominion's Head of Creative Services for Live Entertainment, to learn more about the story and theming happening in Jungle X-Pedition. And last, but certainly not least, the park's Executive Chef Denis Callinan is going to join the podcast and talk about some new and exciting food options coming to the park in 2022. If you listen closely enough, you might actually hear that we're getting to break some news about the new restaurant coming to the space that was formerly known as Livingston's, Bubba Gump's, and Outer Hanks. We hope you're ready. There's a lot of information coming your way on this week's Coaster 101 podcast. First, we're going to welcome in King's Dominion's Vice President and General Manager, Bridgette Bywater. Bridgette, good morning. How are you?
Thank you. Good morning, Coaster101. Andrew, thank you for having me this morning. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. We're thrilled that you're joining us. We're recording a little bit in advance of the opening of the park for the 2022 season, but let's go back to 2021. You had your first full season as General Manager and as Vice President and General Manager of the park. I got to get those titles correct. What was that first season like for you? How was the first year at King's Dominion?
It was a fantastic season. It started off a little quieter than we would want to, just with the labor market and coming, sort of the economy blooming back in after COVID was starting to loosen up a little bit. It was definitely a challenging summer to start with. But golly, by the end of it, just the rip roaring, like it was a fantastic end of the season. Carnival was fantastic. Haunt was amazing. Winterfest is beautiful out here. So it was a really good experience. We had a great year. We did end with a 4-day power outage because Virginia got dumped on a little bit with some snow here, but we're excited about 22.
Well, no power outages coming this year. We're going to keep our fingers crossed for that. But the theme of this overall podcast, we're talking obviously Tumbili and Jungle X-Pedition. And for those who have been following the whole Tumbili, I'm not going to call it a saga because I feel like that has a negative connotation. Tumbili, I feel like, beat you to King's Dominion and, eagle-eyed park guests, depending on where you stood on the Dominator exit platform. They could see the the pieces of the roller coaster that were just kind of lying there and wait. But we finally get to experience Tumbili and the all new Jungle X-Pedition. What are you most excited for this new kind of re-themed, re-energized area in the park?
I have to be honest. I am such an experience-driven person. I enjoy just the sights and the sounds and the smells and all of it. The sounds of people laughing and screaming as they're riding the rides, and kids just dancing across the midways, and seeing it all come together with color schemes and the music. That's really the part that I look forward to the most, because to me, that's that immersive experience is the most really dynamic and engaging environment, and super excited about it coming in with our Jungle X area.
I love it. Well, the centerpiece of the new area is Tumbili, which is an SNS 4D free spin coaster. I've got to ask, have you ever ridden one of these coasters before?
No. Andrew, and I'm sorry, Coaster101. I am much more of a tame ride type of person than a roller coaster fanatic. I will ride every roller coaster once, but I have not ridden this type of roller coaster. I did scream a lot on the last Wild Mouse I rode, so we'll see how this one goes.
Okay, perfect. I love it. I've ridden a couple of different Six Flags parks. They're unique experiences, and every ride I feel like is different depending on how the vehicle is weighted and things like that. So I do think that coaster enthusiasts and the non-coaster enthusiasts alike, I think, are going to enjoy this one. But there's some other new additions to the Jungle X-Pedition area. Obviously, Avalanche is now Reptilian, and the Scrambler is now Arachnidia. I'm still going to have issues pronouncing that. But what else can guests expect in the Jungle X-Pedition area this season?
We took a look at all of that, right? The area when we put Tumbili in, we wanted to really make this a jungle area and bring that theme into the rest of it. So we did rename a couple of our rides, and Reptilian, because it's like a serpent going through the jungle, and Arachnidia, for obvious reasons. It's got sort of a spider shape to it, but I think you're going to see that theme sort of reproduced throughout. So you're going to see some stonework within the areas where there's little Easter eggs looking for different things in the concrete shapes, and we've got different hand-painted motifs on some of the buildings, and just bringing that in. And we looked at the food and beverage offerings and are really sort of infusing the Jungle X theming even into the type of food we have to offer. The food establishment is changing, and then even into our revenue location, our retail location, our merchandising location, with T-shirts, and just sort of the layout of the design of the shop as well changed a lot. And just the whole area. I walked through there this morning. It's just so much wider open, and there's been more thought to it, because as amusement parks grow up, they sort of grow up and things change and they sort of get crammed in and where they want. We really took sort of an aesthetic approach to this and really decided, is this the right way to have this building situated, or is this the right entry point to this area, and that sort of thing. So we really tried to take some artistic ideas into that, and of course traffic flow and all the rest of that. So, and then of course we've got our Jungle X show that'll be opening up this summer, which will just be over the top, and again fit the theming and the music, and it's going to be amazing.
I'm excited. And yeah, we're talking, after we talked to you through the magic of podcasting, we were talking to Tony Turner, who he's got a very long title, but it is the head of creative services for live entertainment. So he had a hand in that decor. And we also are talking to Executive Chef Denis Callinan. He talks all about the new restaurants, the new food, and based on the conversation that we've already had that you're going to get to listen to here in a little bit, I'm already hungry, and King's Dominion isn't even open for the season yet. So we're just stay tuned for that. Keep listening. It's going to be a great podcast episode. But Bridgette, when you walk in, when you see, Opening day is this coming Saturday. Again, magic of podcasting here. We're recording a little bit in advance. Opening day is this coming Saturday. What are you most excited for the 2022 season at King's Dominion?
Oh, to see our season pass holders again. I'm so excited to see the season pass holders again and welcome into the park and just see the reaction on, we've got some season pass holders that have been here almost all the 50 years that we've been, nearly 50 years that we've been open. And just to be able to share that experience with them, seeing this area for the first time. And again, as an amusement park family kind of person, I see it as, people who grew up here now get to share this whole new sort of mystical experience with their kids or their grandkids as they're coming in. And so I bar none, that's what I'm most excited about. It's just getting to be able to see the guests again. I
love it. That's awesome. Anything else, looking forward to obviously we have Carnival coming back and Haunt is on the calendar and Winterfest. What else can we look forward to at King's Dominion during the 2022 season?
Well, we're such an entertainment-driven business here at King's Dominion. So, of course, Carnival coming this summer, and that'll be happening independent of the Jungle X show, which is coming as well. And then, as always, Haunt is such a big thing here. So we're sort of have a little plan in mind for taking some of that stuff up just a little notch, to see if we can challenge people to find some new frights out here. And then, of course, Winterfest is just getting always larger than life and trying to achieve that sort of one-stop, see-it-all type of place. It's not just a place to see lights or a place to go ice skating or catch a cup of hot cocoa, but you get it all here and the rides and everything. So, I always trying to strive to just the next step in that process and not to try and do the same thing every single year. So
I love it. And you debuted the Winterfest Wonderland Parade last year, correct?
We did. Oh my gosh, it was amazing. And we already had a parade with Carnival, but bringing that into Winterfest and having the Santa Claus and all of the festivities that are associated with winter programming and bringing that into the parade, the skiers and the dancers and the singers. And to me, the biggest thing that resonates with me is just the enjoyment of the people around it, seeing our guests dance and sing and really get into it. And there's always a parade stop where the kiddies can come out into the parade and dance with the performers. And so it's just fun to see it happen. And I could watch it every night. It's fantastic. And everyone else should come out every night too. Exactly.
I love it. Season pass holders, if you're listening, go see Bridgette on opening day and then come back for the 4 seasons of fun, as it were. Spring, summer, fall, and winter. So it's going to be a great season for sure at King's Dominion this year. Now, Bridgette, I know you're very busy. We're the week before the park opens, and the park opens for the season on Saturday, March 12th. We're looking forward to it. We're going to get up there at some point early this spring. Unfortunately, can't be there opening day, which is a bummer. Bridgette, thank you so much for your time. I'm going to let you get back to the last week of prep before the craziness starts. I really appreciate you joining us today.
Thank you, Andrew. You have a fantastic afternoon, and we'll look forward to having you out here.
Absolutely. So let's welcome in Tony Turner, who is head of creative services for live entertainment. Tony, how are you?
I'm great, Andrew. Thanks for having me today.
Absolutely. I want to start with you. Obviously, the head of creative services for live entertainment is as we mentioned offline, is kind of a long title, but it's a unique title. What does your role entail at King's Dominion?
Well, it's a dream job. I get to come to work every day and play. So I am a designer and decorator for the park. And that sounds very generalized, but what I do is decor for the park during the spring and summer, Halloween Haunt, Winterfest, and I do theming throughout the park. So theming in different rides, different stores, restaurants, decorating, that kind of thing. So I have a team of folks that help me out. We have carpenters and scenic artists and floral designers and all kinds of folks on my team. And we get to play in the theme park all day long. So it's a whole lot of fun.
I love it. Well, we're going to talk about the elephant in the room now. I mean, this episode is kind of King's Dominion focused, but we are hyper focused really on the brand new Jungle X-Pedition, which is opening at King's Dominion this season. I want to talk a little bit kind of about the origins of Jungle X-Pedition, but the area it's going into, formerly known as Safari Village, has definitely undergone its own changes over the years. I mean, it used to have, the Land of Dews and Smurf Mountain and the Tomb Raider attraction, and it's had many identities. But how did this story of Jungle X-Pedition kind of come to be?
Well, you're right about that, Andrew. The part of the park we're working in right now is the oldest part of our park, dating back to 1974, when there was a drive-through Lion Country safari experience. And what this meant is Ma and Pa would, get the kids in the station wagon and pay to drive through this area where there were zebras and elephants and lions and tigers and monkeys and the whole bit. And it was quite interesting. This was the beginning of King's Dominion. And I was lucky enough to be able to do that back in that year. And I remember that experience. It was something really, but that didn't last long because there were all kinds of issues with animals attacking cars and monkeys taking windshield wipers and running off with them and all kinds of things happening. So they went to a monorail system that went on the same path as the old road did. And you'd get on the monorail, it was air conditioned and windows on all sides, and you could see all the animals in the same way. And, that came and went. I think it's probably very expensive to have an animal experience like that. So that kind of disappeared, but they kept the safari feel in that part of the park. There was a parrot show and other small animals in that area, but that they went by the wayside as well. And a lot of things came and went. They put up this amazing mountain that had the Lost World in it, and it was a haunted river ride that went through a couple of different names. And oh my gosh, there was Smurf Mountain, there was the Land of the Dews, there was the Time Shaft, several rides that were in this mountain, and eventually it became the volcano, and there was just a lot of cool things that happened in that area. And other rides came and went during a Paramount era. We had Laura Croft Tomb Raider, which eventually became the Crypt. And there's just a lot of rides that Paramount popped in that area that didn't really fit. And it's been an area that's sort of needed some love for a long time. And so now we come to where we're talking today. The Safari Village, also known as the Congo at one point, is now being rethemed as Jungle X-Pedition.
I love it. And, with that story, Jungle X-Pedition, we were there at Media Day where it was the Way Foundation, the fictional Way Foundation has kind of unearthed these temples and these tombs. What can you, for those who may have not read our review, which Coaster101.com, type in Tumbili, you're going to find this recap of the Media Day. But what can you tell us about the story of Jungle X-Pedition and the Way Foundation?
Well, it's an interesting and very rich story. It's of course totally made up, but it's the way we begin anything with a project here at the park is a rich story, and this one certainly is is just like that. So. The Way Foundation was founded, according to the story, in honor of Professor Gerard Winston Way. And he was the discoverer of Base Camp X and Tumbili, which is the jungle monkey temple, in 1935. And he continued exploring and excavating the area. And through his exploration, Professor Way, learned of a location hidden deep in the jungle bush that was said to possess mystical powers within this region. And several temples had been built to celebrate and connect with like jungle creatures and animals. And so the legend of the story says that visitors to these shrines would spiritually link and temporarily possess the animal's power and abilities. So that's it in a nutshell. I mean, I have pages and pages of story, and it's wonderful. It's just a very, like I said, a very rich story. But that's the upshot of the whole thing. And now we kind of come to these other explorers who've gone in his footsteps, in his shadow, to find other areas of Jungle X that where there have been temples and this kind of thing. And now his great granddaughter is heading this whole thing up. And as you may remember, at the unveiling of this project, we got to meet the great granddaughter, and she's basically now gone back into where her great grandfather, found all this stuff and has made it appropriate for guests to visit. And so there's been, restaurants and stores and conveniences that would need to be there for infrastructure, I guess, that would need to be there for visitors to come to the area. So that's kind of where we are right now.
Okay. What's it been like for you as kind of a theme park creative to kind of have this story and be able to tell it and kind of put your own unique spin on the story of Professor Way?
Well, the story came to us from our corporate department. And so our job here in the park is to interpret that story to the best of our abilities and to create a three-dimensional immersive environment and experience for our guests to enjoy. So there's been, a lot of emphasis on the theming, the decor. I mentioned earlier that's a big part of what I do here at the park. But we've gone in and touched everything. I mean, it was an area of the park that just needed some finessing, and the story was the beginning of that. So, for example, the asphalt that was on the ground has all been removed, and it's all pavers now, which is something we love to do here at the park. It makes it cooler in the summer, which is one thing, but it also adds a wonderful theming, element to the area. So that's happened. There is one swath of asphalt that is in front of one of the restaurants, and it's there to represent an airstrip where planes will come in and go from this jungle area. So that's interesting, very interesting, and definitely a huge thematic piece of the puzzle. But there's also dig sites that are currently being excavated, something like you would see like on National Geographic or something like that. So there are several of those in the area that guests can see. And there's wonderful landscaping. I mean, we have palm trees being put in that, I mean, as much as you can in Virginia, but vegetation that is jungle-like, and just all kinds of wonderful visual bits of eye candy all over the place.
I love it. It's cool. Like when you get this story and you get to kind of put your own unique spin on it. And it's not like it's an IP that you have to base something around. You're telling the story or the park rather is telling the story as they want to tell it, which is definitely impressive.
That's exactly right. We've created our own IP basically. And the story is what leads every bit of the activity that we do. That's the predominant factor in how this whole thing unfolds.
Yep. And I do want to touch on real quick back when the Tumbili and Jungle X were announced last year. They talked about it was Professor Way's granddaughter, again a fictional character. He found this temple, and legend had it visitors could possess the powers and abilities of the local jungle creatures, monkeys, tarantulas, crocodiles, and more. And this obviously was when Tumbili was announced, but I don't know if I was the only one who picked up on it, but also hinted at the re-themes of Avalanche, the park's classic mock rides, bobsled coaster, as well as the Scrambler, which is now known as Arachnidia. That's going to be a tough one for me to pronounce, but
me too.
These re-themes, obviously, with classic attractions like Avalanche and Scrambler, both which have been in the park for a number of years, bringing some new life and some new love and some new story to those, do you feel like it's just a better completion of the overall area and kind of links everything together into one cohesive story? Yes, I would definitely agree with that. And let's quickly start with the Avalanche, which is known to the guests prior to the opening of this new area. That's a beloved family ride that folks really, really enjoy. Kids can ride that with their parents. And I don't quote me on this, but I'm almost positive it's the only existing ride of its kind in this country. There may be one somewhere in Europe, but I'm not positive about that. You may know better than I do. But in other words, it's not a ride you see at every theme park. And it really is unique. And I think there was talk, people thought we were going to take it out. That was never the intention. What we've done is given it new life. So it's gotten a brand new paint job. The track and the supports have been fully repainted. The trains have been totally refurbished with fresh new paint and theming enhancements. And it is all based around the reptilian temple dedicated to the jungle crocodile, which, according to the story, was found in 2015 by Professor Rovin J. So I am so excited for this, to see the progression of taking those cars. If you recall, had Germany and I don't know, Canada, USA, whatever it was on the cars. And they were reminiscent of what we just had happen at the Olympics, the bobsled races that you'd see at the Winter Olympics. And that was really the only theming that the whole ride ever had. Well, now it's been fully fleshed out. And I mean, there's theming in the queue line, there's theming in the house where where the ride comes back into the queue line, into the, I'm not even sure what they call that, but the ride house. And so there's just so much. The cars are amazing, what they've done to them. And I think the guests are going to just love this ride, even more so than they did before. Cool. And then the same with, okay, we're going to try this again, Arachnidia. Arachnidia. Yes, that of course is our Scrambler ride, which has always been popular. That ride, by the way, this is from someone who's been coming to the park since 74, 75. That ride has been all over the place. I remember it used to be on I Street, International Street, back where the haunted Cornstalkers maze is now. And it's just a great ride. Everybody loves that ride. And so that one's been redone too. According to the story, Maria Estrada in 2010 found this temple which pays respect to the Goliath tarantula. And guests are going to notice that the supports and the cars have been totally rethemed and repainted. There's a surprise on the little mountain that's behind this, the Arachnidia. And it's getting easier to say the more I say it. So, but there's it's just lots of little cool things. Cement has been repoured around the ride, and you're going to see some stone carvings in that. Just some neat little details, and the details are everything in this kind of world. The guests are going to love it. It's of course it's the same ride, but it's been enhanced, and the experience is going to be really cool for the guests. I love it. And then you did mention it. The details are everything. Have you or your team or anybody with the park managed to put in any, Easter eggs or details that were pretty important to you? Anything we should be on the lookout for?
Oh, most certainly. There are things hidden everywhere. And if I told them to you, then they wouldn't be a surprise. So I will challenge you and the listeners and guests to the park when they get to see it. Take a look very closely inside the restaurants, the new restaurant, they're newly rethemed restaurants, the new retail store. Look around the area. The area is going to have some cool things that some of our historians or people that remember the park from way back will certainly smile at. So yeah, there's some really, really cool things, graphics and physical decor, things that I think you're going to really, really enjoy.
Perfect. And I know, through the magic of podcasting, after we're finished talking to you on this episode, we're going to talk to Chef Denis, and he's going to tell us all about these new restaurant concepts at the park. But what are you most looking forward to when it comes to the opening of Jungle X-Pedition?
Well, the main thing you're going to notice when you first come into the park or into this part of the park is just a general newness and freshness to the area. But you're not going to be able to ignore the fact that Tumbili is like right there. It's on the same bit of real estate where the crypt was, and that was a real unique ride too. I didn't think this ride was going to fit there. It just didn't seem like, we'd seen, similar rides to that. Mm-hmm. And I thought there's no way that's going to fit there. And not only does it fit there, but it looks gorgeous there. And you can't miss it when you come through the arch of the land. We always call it the Safari Arch, which it is not now. It's the Jungle X-Pedition Arch. But you can't miss that beautiful ride. It is so well themed. It's the uprights are painted out to look like giant stalks of bamboo, and the ride cars are just amazing. They rotate, and we were able to watch the other night when they did the first running of it with the water dummies and all that, and that was interesting because you got to really see how this ride spins around. It is the guests are going to love it. There's nothing like it around, and it's you can't miss that. So there's that. But there's the restaurants. I'm really excited about the redo of the old Outer Hanks / Bubba Gump restaurant. And people way back will remember that. That's been gutted and redone, and it's beautiful. It's just my part of the job is decorating and theming the dining room, which of course is where the guests spend most of their time after they've gotten their food. And when you talk to the chef, he'll tell you about the wonderful brand new menu and all that. But we've worked to make it look like it goes with the story. We've interpreted the story. So we've spent a lot of time, energy, and money in finding decor and props and antiques and vintage pieces and all that will enhance that whole dining experience.
I love it. That's awesome. Tony, anything else we can look forward to in 2022 that you've got your hands in?
There's a lot of interesting shows coming down the pike. They've done some renewal efforts at the Jukebox Diner on the other end of the park, which really needed some love. If you recall, that was built when they did Wayne's World all those many years ago during the Paramount time. So that's beautiful, and it also has a brand new menu too. And he may touch on that when you talk to him, but. The park just looks so nice. It's fresh and clean. Winterfest is gone, and we're all looking forward to spring and summer. And it's going to be a wonderful year with Grand Carnival and the enhancements for Haunt and Winterfest. And we're excited. We really are. We're happy, and we just can't wait to see our guests.
Well, we are very much looking forward to it, and hopefully I'll get up there and I'll see you soon.
Can't wait. Thank you, awesome. Andrew.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tony. And now we're going to welcome in Executive Chef of King's Dominion, Denis Callinan. Chef, how's it going?
It's going great, Andrew. Excited about the upcoming season.
Yeah, it's definitely, you've been, forgive the pun here, you've been on quite of a roller coaster since you started at King's Dominion in 2019. I mean, in your kind of tenure, there's been a lot of growth in the park as far as the culinary scene goes. Obviously, you had the addition of Grain and Grill, the Dogwood Grill, and the food trucks inside of Soak City. But, you know, how have you seen the culinary food scene at King's Dominion and maybe the greater industry as a whole kind of expand and grow over the past 3-ish years?
Well, definitely. I mean, it has been quite a ride, and it's been a great opportunity to be able to get some of the new concepts like Grain and Grill and to apply some of the classic culinary techniques that, you know, I've had over years and years and working in the industry. But the consumer has also changed. You know, we used to be chicken tender, and the consumer has gotten much more savvier. So we have to do that and reflect that in our menus and in the team as well. So, you know, I've added a number of sous chefs. I put a great chef into Grain and Grill this past summer, and she trained a bunch of staff and was able to make changes to the menu that were seasonally based. We had the Hanover tomato pie that people kept raving about, and this past Winterfest, we did a roasted acorn squash that is totally unique to theme park food. So that was the goal with the angles of the food, where I would love to walk down the Grove and in the different areas and hear the guests go, "This is unbelievable. I have never thought that this item would be in a theme park and work." So that's pretty much the approach that we made and we're headed towards. So
I love it. That is, again, as a bit of a foodie myself, I do love to eat when I go to the park. I've yet to get to Grain and Grill, but it is one of those signature restaurant experiences that I know is kind of a focus across the greater Cedar Fair chain in the recent past rather.
Mm-hmm.
But on that subject, back when Tumbili was announced, and we are talking Tumbili and Jungle X-Pedition this episode, we gathered in an area, what I believe was called Base Camp, and the area, that was where they made the announcement outside of Outer Hanks. And there was a part of the Tumbili announcement was that another new signature dining experience was coming as part of Jungle X-Pedition. And I believe you've got some news to announce on this podcast. I think we're getting a big exclusive today.
I do. I think you are getting a big exclusive. And yes, in the Jungle X-Pedition area, we have the Outpost Cafe, which will offer very exploratory types of fresh food ingredients, a little bit of that signature stealth health combined into it, but some very, very unique flavors that we're excited about. A great signature drink, the prickly pear margarita in the Tin Goose bar. And it's going to be a phenomenal area and an entirely new experience in King's Dominion. So we're very excited about it. So we just to touch on some of the secret items, we have a fire roasted prime rib set for there. We have handmade sausage. We have a beautiful local half chicken that'll be grilled up there, and our Peruvian fried bread, which I think that people will die just to try. So it's been very fun creating these recipes and sharing them and tasting it for the past several months. And now we get to share the Outpost Cafe with you. In addition to the Outpost Cafe, we also have a number of different other rephasing. We have the formerly Hippo which is now the Jungle Market Eatery. And we will still have some of the great offerings of the fresh burger on the brioche bun. But we have one of my favorites is our house-made chorizo queso on the burger. So this is a little bit messy, but I will tell you it's well worth the wet nap. So another fun item in there. And then the other pieces will be adding a wrap to Chicken Shack. It will remain the name. It kind of has that. But again, we've had the Nashville Hot this past year come on, and we do our fresh chicken tenders in there. And you still, if you've had it during Haunt, the turkey leg, we have the hot honey sauce, and that is also offered on your tenders in Chicken Shack. So lots of fun pieces, and coming soon we'll have a few different other pieces into that area that'll be unique to that experience. So
I love it. And I want to go back to the Outpost Cafe real quick. You led with fire roasted prime rib. I don't think any other theme park anywhere is doing a fire roasted prime rib. Where do you find the inspiration for menu items like this?
Because we definitely want to create an experience that is unique to any theme park. So that is the overall driving goal to that. But I will tell you, in this beautiful area, and we have a very similar unit that we did our sirloin with in Grain and Grill. We have a vertical rotisserie. The visual of the guests coming up and seeing this rib roast off in this rotisserie and then being carved is I mean, who doesn't like prime rib?
That's a really good point. Other than vegetarians, I can't think of anybody, but that's neither here nor there.
Well, for the vegetarians, we have not disincluded them at all. We do have a crispy fried shrimp that's going in there for those pescatarians. But we have a mango tomato salad. We have these fried baby potatoes that are going to be delicious. And we have a number of different things that will be quite acceptable to a broad range of palates. So, and also being able to change the menu up a little bit to be seasonal. Like we had said last year with Grain and Grill, we had worked with Kirby Farms and got local tomatoes and made a tomato pie and tomato salad. We're going to be able to, as Virginia starts to get warmer and the crops start to harvest, we'll integrate that into our menus. Right now we have a beautiful roasted vegetable with kale that is set to go into the Outpost Cafe when we get it up and running. So
I love it. And there, you did mention the 10 Goose Bar, and there is a certain subset of theme park fan who they enjoy a little imbibement with their coaster rides and thrill rides. What can guests expect? Is this going to become the new go-to watering hole hotspot at King's Dominion?
I certainly do. I will tell you that we really looked at what our offerings were to make sure that they themed with the different areas. We have a new brew that's going to be coming out very, very shortly. That's the Tumbili Lager. So we're hoping to share that with you, and a number of signature drinks. And again, looking back at the facet of how to do it, making sure that all those pieces are there and they're well-built locations and they're ready to serve the guests. So it gives you that unique ability to twist things up and make things different if we want to during Haunt. We get to have lots of different events, if you will. This is a 400-acre stage that we just get to stage and create these events. And as the seasons change, we get to change the environment and the atmosphere and really keep it exciting throughout the year. So we can do that with food. I know that my other partners in King's Dominion do a great job and really focus on those things. And there's exciting things to come up other than food that I'm really excited about too. But it's that complete package that really makes that experience wholesome.
I love it. And we were talking a little bit offline, and you can tell me no, but there are also some changes in store coming to the jukebox menu as well.
Yes. So you'll see some big changes in jukebox, and we're super excited. We've changed the style of service. You basically, instead of ordering your burger and your fries set, you basically the same application in Grain and Grill and in the Outpost is you walk up and you choose your burger. We have a diner burger, which is a double cheeseburger. And then we have our famous classic twisted timber burger, which has changed a little bit. We do cheddar cheese on two fresh burger patties. So this is a double patty burger, and that will be signature to jukebox. We also have a large house-made drop biscuit that we smother in chicken pot pie. We will also offer chicken fried steak. And I see your face going up. I know this is audio, but that's that approach that we wanted to do. That surprising food that you would not necessarily expect into a theme park. Chicken fried steak, fresh mashed potatoes, a fresh vegetable will be offered in there, as well as our penne Alfredo that you can choose as a side, as well as our famous straight cut fries and our onion rings. But that is, and now that I'm talking about fries, I have to double back to our new location and announce another really exciing change to that area, and that is a fresh cut fry stand. In the former Infernal Funnel Cake, you will be able to get half-inch fresh cut Idaho fries, topped with our famous house-made pulled pork that we slow smoke overnight. Every ounce of it that we serve in the park is all done in-house, topped with our jalapeno ranch. We also have a chili fry, and just generally a big boat of crispy fries topped with. We also have since we've had some strong reviews on our pot roast gravy, so we have a poutine as well, pot roast gravy with cheese curds on top of these fresh cut fries, and just an amazing addition to that. So yeah, sorry to jump out of jukebox, but
no, you're good.
I had to mention the Excavator Taters. That is the new location that's next to Outpost.
I love it. And I was set on a meal at Outpost Cafe, maybe Grain and Grill, maybe Jukebox Diner, but now you're talking about these fries, and I'm going to have to I'm going to have to find a way to get up to King's Dominion multiple times this year, because driving 5 hours each way is a little cumbersome. But you know what? For that food, I'm going to do it. That's absolutely going to happen.
I assure you, it will be an experience like no other. Definitely the way that we set this up, the pieces that we put together, we've been testing. I'm actually in a photography studio right now doing the final shoots for all these menu items and all the graphics that go up. But we're super excited. We're trying to make it easier to make sure that you can get your drinks, you can get your ices, you can get your food, so you can get on those coasters, enjoy those wonderful coasters, get some wind in your hair, get hungry again, and eat some more. So we have a lemon ice cream, lemon soft serve that we're going to open up with in Appleidas. We have our fresh cinnamon donuts. We offer a donut sundae. And more soon to come. We got a great Carnival menu. We have a Tricks and Treats menu that's like no other. We've really come up with some really unique items that I can't wait to share with you down the road. And yes, 5 hours is not that far for this type of experience. So,
I love it. Well,
I will tell you.
If you ever need a taste tester, I'm going to text you my phone number after we're done with this recording for sure.
Yep, definitely. I'll send you pictures to entice you to get in that car and get down here and check it out. So
I love it. And then I got one final question for you. And this is like picking your favorite child, but opening day, you get to go into King's Dominion. You can have any meal, any restaurant in the park, anything to drink. Where are you going, and what are you going to be ordering?
I will tell you, you're not going to get a bad meal. From Dogwood's hot dogs, probably one of the best hot dogs that I've had. It's good. This is really tough. This is like picking one of my children. But I have to lean to the Jungle Market Eatery and that fresh chorizo queso on that smother burger, on that queso burger. Sorry, I refer to it as a smother burger because that's the emotion I feel with that brioche bun and that fresh patty and that house-made queso on top. But I will tell you that salty, that little unique seasoning that we have on our prime rib, that is definitely going to be the place to be for that. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't know of any other place that's serving prime rib on the regular at one of their signature restaurants. So it'll be fun. It'll be great. Our house-made sausage will be amazing. We'll be able to change it up a little bit and add some different unique items as the season goes through. But definitely the last 3 years we built an infrastructure. We've been held down through a little bit of changes and some different other things, but we're set to really give that experience of Virginia, premier Virginia park. So
awesome.
Well worth the drive.
Absolutely. Well, Chef Denis Callinan, thank you so much for your time. We are looking forward to getting back up to King's Dominion, eating all of the delicious food. Again, I don't know where to start. I'm going to have to make a list and check it off and get up there, but can't wait. And I'll look you up when we get up there. Appreciate your time.
Excellent. You do. I'm always in the park. I usually wear some unique pants. That's most people know me for that. So I definitely am a hands-on chef. I'm in the park, so you can always find me in multiple areas. But if you spend enough time there, you'll come across me. So
I love it. Thanks, Chef.
All right. Thank you, Andrew.
All right.
Have a great day.
All right. See, we told you a lot was coming. King's Dominion opens for the season on March 12th, and we're going to get up there very soon, so we'll have a review on this podcast about Tumbili, Jungle X-Pedition, and everything going on at the park. But that's going to do it for this week's episode of the Coaster101 podcast. First things first, we got a little business to attend to. We recently held a contest for people to leave us reviews on iTunes for this podcast, because the more reviews and ratings we get, the better chance people will find us and we can grow our listenership. So we've picked a winner to win the Coaster101 prize pack, and that's Kyle Told. His review was exclusive content, a must listen for park goers. Says, I thoroughly enjoy the Coaster101 podcast. It's a great listen with a wide and diverse range of speakers, which can be hard to get in this industry. Always impressed with how exclusive some of the guests are too. Best part is it's easy to listen to for the non-enthusiast and makes for an entertaining car drive. If you're a coaster enthusiast or even have any slight interest in the attractions industry, there is no reason you shouldn't be tuning into this podcast. Kyle, we appreciate the review. Shoot us an email at andrew@coaster101.com. We will get your prize pack in the mail. If you're listening to this podcast, make sure you're following us on social media. We are at Coaster101, anywhere you can consume the platform. We also have a website, Coaster101.com. We've covered the ins and outs of Tumbili, the announcement, the construction. We've covered the re-themes of both Reptilian and Arachnidia. Again, that word is really difficult to say. So be sure to check out Coaster101.com as well. We want you to leave reviews like Kyle gave us. They don't have to be as thorough and in-depth or 5 stars, but we really appreciate those. But Apple Podcasts, Spotify, give us some 5-star ratings and reviews. We'll read them on the show going forward. Like I said, really helps people find us and helps us get more listeners. Thanks, as always, to Justin Mabry for our theme music, and we will talk to y'all again soon. See ya.